You're muted. You're on mute. Welcome to a new edition of the Sports.
Sideline Junkies.
Our fearful leader doesn't want to use his Barry White voice or something.
Come on, baby. Love is in the
air. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Now we can.
Okay.
Very good. You can do it.
Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Sunday Rise. Thank you for starting your Sunday morning with us. It's me, it's the big guy KG, sitting in with the Midnight Rider, the boss BJ, bringing you the shenanigans and the best side of sports on the East Coast. First and foremost, how y'all fellas doing this morning?
I'm doing good, man.
Excellent.
Well, I want to talk about something this morning. And I think this is probably really rough for y'all, but I say we talk about it. Greatest MVP race of all time. 1960. No, I'm just playing. I just play. So we're gonna get this started right. We got a question. Right out the gate. With all the talk of Washington moving back to DC, RFK being a viable site, is RFK really a viable site, or is it just a pipe dream? I'll throw it over to the boss BJ first, then the Midnight Rider, and then of course you already know my stance, so I'll finish it out.
I'm gonna play both sides. I think it's a little bit of both, because the question itself is kind of ridiculous because the site has already proved it can hold and host football. Of course, it's outdated. It needs to be redone. What doesn't? I mean, FedEx is at that point now. It's outdated. Need to be redone. But I think, of course, transportation-wise, you can't beat the subway sitting right, a couple blocks away from the stadium. And it's going to get redone anyway. We're not talking about a revamp like they did for the Nationals some years back. We're talking about tearing it down, having a nice big ceremony, tearing it down, rebuilding it. The parking. You're talking about I don't think you'll ever see that level of parking again from another stadium past the when was that built? The 60s. Yeah, you just if you're from the area, you know how many parking lots there are at RFK and how big they are. I don't think you'll ever see anything like that again. So, whoever redoes the site, you just got to figure out. Like I said, hosting football is not a question at all. You can do that, and people will gladly come back to that. I think you have to worry about the DC transplants now in that neighborhood not wanting that stadium there. That's going to be a big fight. Can it host football? Without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. It's just you got other things in place now that you didn't have when they left that might hold back that stadium being built there. But football wise, I mean, that's the home of this team. That's the heart of this team. Right now, somebody did open heart surgery and forgot to put the heart back in. That is the heart of this team. They go back to that site, you'll have that. It's like being put back on an Indian burial ground. No pun intended. And I think that would give a booster shot to the fan base. I really think it would. So my answer is yes, but there's a lot of stipulations that come with a 2023, 24 build or announcement that stadium's coming. It's going to be a lot of pushback, but the team needs that. And I think if you move this team to Virginia, or anywhere else that's not accessible for your regular fans, you're gonna suffer Miami Heat syndrome, where the stadium probably is gonna be half empty, the more you push it out where people can't get to it, I mean, it's only so much people can afford. We're already paying, you know, $60 for a 12-piece at Popeyes. We ain't got too much more money to spend. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm a little different. I think from what I've been hearing and just from what I know about the council, I don't think this is a viable option at all. Because I think they're going to fight it more than anybody else. And it's mostly because the guys that are left, I think the only one that's really going to fight for it is Kenyon McDuffie and maybe the mayor. And I think the mayor is going to fight for it because she's going to be on the side of making sure that she's not against it so she doesn't lose those voters that's in place. And then there's going to be people that are able to take that hit from not supporting it because where they live, the people aren't. I mean, we got so many transplants that is this really going to have that same feel? You're not going to have the stadium rocking. You're not going to build it with shock absorbers so you get that balance or anything like that. Even though that would be creative, but I just don't see it happening that way. I just see so many pitfalls in the way of it happening that as much as we would love for it to happen, it just won't because there's going to be too many detractors from it. And I think really DC is going to be used to try to set up either the right amount of money from Maryland to get something done in Maryland or to get the money from Virginia. So that's why I don't see DC or RFK as a viable option. I just don't see them being able to put the infrastructure in that landscape to support a team because they're trying to talk about, oh, we want to do food and all this other stuff. I just don't see all that being in that footprint.
Well, I'm on the, and what's up to you, Edwin? I seen your comment, wasn't ignoring you. Good morning to you. Glad you could be up with us. I'm on, the boss BJ was on both sides. The Midnight Rider says pipe dream. I say it's viable. I've said that for 4.5, 5 years. You have to look at it as the football team, the Commanders, the Redskins, they come back to DC, the amount of jobs it brings, the amount of revenue it brings back to the city. Now, this is a city complaining about losing money. You telling me you want to miss out on having a Major 4 team come to the city? Look at what the Nationals did when they came to DC. They were terrible, but they showed that they could sell out some games. Even though they were terrible, and you had Christian Guzman and Alfonso Soriano, Ryan Church, you had these guys. But they still sold out games, and Ryan Zimmerman, fan favorite. He has a field named after him up there by the new National Stadium. You bring back the nostalgia. And it's kind of sort of like when the Ravens came to Baltimore in 96. People didn't know who to root for. They didn't know if it was okay to root for the Ravens. All the old Colts came out and was like, it's okay. It's okay. They were at the games, everything. When you bring that nostalgia back, it makes it all right. People, and see, here's the thing. When you have transplants in a city and the transplants are able to tell the city, well, we don't like this, go back to where you're from then. Go back to your state and tell them you don't like it. Because we have a culture here. Every place you go to North Carolina, you go to Virginia, you go to West Virginia, you go to Pennsylvania. Everybody has a culture. Don't come in and try to change the culture. Oh, we don't like it. Well, go back to where your license says and tell them you don't like that culture. You can't come into a city and say we don't like that. You can't. Don't do that. Oh, we don't like go-go music. We don't like the bars and everything on 8th Street. Well, you can't change that. We don't like U Street corridor. That's what we have here. It's Redskins, Nationals, Horse and Dickies, and 5 wings and French fries with salt, pepper, ketchup, mumbo sauce, and half smokes. That's DC. And go-go music. Don't forget go-go music. That's DC. You can't change that. And Washington going back to RFK, it will pump so much more into the city, money wise, jobs wise, just especially if they go back and start winning. Oh man, crops gonna be up, stocks gonna be up. You're gonna be able to talk to your neighbor and borrow a cup of sugar without getting shot at. Everything's gonna be good. Crime's gonna go down. I don't see this as not a bad thing. So,
Can I elaborate a little bit more? If one, that's what DC is. DC is transplants, and for whatever reason, the people that are here, that's a whole nother show, don't have as much power as the people that come here. So, like I said, that neighborhood has changed since the Washington football team, Commander Redskins, played there last. The other thing is, on a positive side, if you do this stadium right, DC can host a bowl. Is it, because you have to, this is something I said Buffalo dropped the ball on, a retractable roof. I think that's something, if you're in a bad weather city, that's something you have to have to get a bowl here, because DC has the infrastructure. There's no question about that. The infrastructure is here to host a Super Bowl. And that's something you have to, how much money the stars are out in DC. I mean, that's a whole nother ball game right there. But to the new owner, the pending new owner, I think the one way you could solve this is do what the LA Rams owner did and be like, look, y'all fight amongst it. I'm putting up my own money. Do y'all want it? That's how you solve it. Because the return you're going to get for that, if you do it right, you're going to make your money back. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a financial expert, but I would assume maybe in 10 years, if the team winning sooner. If this team starts making NFC championship games and get media coverage, if DC gets a Super Bowl, I mean, you're making your money back. I mean, you're getting your stuff back. But what you were saying about certain things, that is for the new ownership to sit down and really kind of like, what do we need to do to get a beat on this team's history? Do they care about that going forward? If you care about that, then okay, we're going to incorporate certain things in RFK. You can't do everything, but if you can do some of the stuff, great. We're going to incorporate some of the things. We're going to, make this a really, really like new historic place and just like some place you can go and just be in awe when you walk in there. But that's for another show. But that's something that once you take over something, whether it's a business or anything, you have to identify the strengths and weakness, and the strengths of this team is something that Dan Snyder went away from, is kind of alienating the history. And so you have to bring that back, and you have to incorporate that. And I think there's so many things with this. You just can't put a stadium up. You have to incorporate certain things. It doesn't have to look like RFK, but you have to have some aspect of an old school, new school feel, if that makes sense. So we'll see. I think it's a long ways away, though. I really do. I really think, and Midnight Rider brought up a good point about the council. I wasn't even thinking about, I was just thinking about the residents, and the city, I mean, they basically gave a field to the soccer team. They, of course, the Nats got a new stadium. It's just like, is there space down there for another stadium? I don't know, but you already got a site. That's the thing. You've already got a site. Nobody can make an argument that it's not going to hold football. No, it's proven that it holds people in droves. So now the point is just getting all the red tape, which I think is probably as long as Route 66, as much red tape as you have to get through to get this stadium approved. And that's the unfortunate thing. But money solves everything. If that man comes and says, hey, I'll put up all the money or 80% of the money, we just need approval, I think it'll get through quicker.
Let me say this. I said something I think I was really, really insensitive. So let me apologize. I said, if you didn't like our culture, go back to where you came from. That's probably the most insensitive thing I've ever said in the show. So I do apologize. If you don't like our culture, fine. don't try to change it. Okay?
Um,
Don't come in, huh? Don't come in and try to change what's been our lifeblood for years. So RFK is a viable spot. It's ready. I mean, you could give the what's the God? I'm drawing a blank. What's the soccer team?
the United.
The United. Yeah, they done won a couple MLS Cups and everything. But you could give them a field, an Audi Field. I didn't even think it was space over there to put anything at Audi Field, but you gave them that. Now, I get it. The goal is to get a Super Bowl because that's influx of money. Now, B, I gotta kind of sort of disagree with you about the retractable roof here, because how often do we get bad weather in January again? We don't get that anymore.
It's not about bad weather anymore. You're talking about today's NFL. The Super Bowl has to be 72 degrees, no precipitation. It doesn't. You eat. Even if you come to a January, February day where it's 60 degrees out here, it's raining. That's going to ruin. We're not talking about 60, 70, 80 NFL anymore. We're talking about new school NFL where they don't want to get dirty. They don't want rain on the camera. We're talking about a very soft NFL when it comes to the Super Bowl. So if it's February here at 18 degrees, the NFL will kick it. So the NFL will jump off a ledge. If they get a Super Bowl, brand new stadium here, it's 18 degrees. And I mean, we would love it. You see the breath coming out their face mask, people shivering, but as football does. But it's not football anymore to what the NFL wants to present. Close the roof, call us when it's 72 degrees. Call us when you got the turf down the way we want it. Like I said, you can't argue the transportation, the infrastructure, the hotels, the shops, the restaurants, the shopping, you name it, it's here. The only thing they need is a stadium. If they don't have a retractable roof, it's not happening. Ask Buffalo. Buffalo don't have the infrastructure, but they shot themselves in the foot. One, because their team is not a 90s and 80s team anymore. It's a high, fast-paced team. So you would want to close the roof. You keep that up to help, facilitate that. But that's a whole nother show. I won't go into that.
Well, think about when the Super Bowl was in New York, and the Super Bowl was Sunday, and they were afraid that the blizzard was going to come before the Super Bowl, and they were talking about postponing the Super Bowl a week until the blizzard came, or making it a week early. But the blizzard didn't come until that Tuesday, and it hit New York hard. It hit that MetLife area hard. But I get that, and the NFL panicked. But I'm like, why are we panicking? We've never canceled a football game for inclement weather. This is what it's about. And unfortunately, I'm thinking of how the game is supposed to be played. That's one of the things about the NFL. They don't cancel. They cancel a game for lightning. They'll postpone a game for lightning. But weather, any other weather, man, ain't no game getting postponed. No. But I get what you're saying. And if they can make that happen and they wind up getting a Super Bowl, I think that's probably one of the greatest things. And it'll be early on in the new owner's regime. If they can pull that off, I think that'll be the greatest thing that outside of a Super Bowl, that'll be the greatest thing they can do as an owner.
Well,
I'm sorry, Midnight Rider. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just want to say something real quick. I'm hoping that when they do the demolition for RFK, if y'all can't see my profile picture, it's a New York Yankees trash truck. I'm thinking they at least have 40 or 50 of these. I'm hoping they could bring them down here to help facilitate the trash leaving RFK, rubble and stuff. They're pretty sturdy. New York has a lot of money, so those probably got upgraded axles. better hydraulics. They probably could crush the steel and stuff. So I'm just hoping that they send those down here to help. That's all.
KG, you want to rebuttal?
Don't get mad at me because I got 27 world championships, 40 pennants, 20 AL East titles. Don't get mad at me. Check my goddamn resume. We winners. What can you say about your team?
Absolutely nothing. We don't have the payroll to do all that.
Exactly. This slander, and Edwin, this is why, bro, they've been ganging up on me like the last 3 shows, and it's not even fair. It's okay.
This since we're on the topic, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point here, but as of right now, the Yankees are 9 games back in the standings.
Yeah.
Just wanted to give you that quick update, just so everybody knows. Yeah, just say
some responsible reporting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Facts.
That might be become a segment each night. Where are the Yankees in the standings? But back to this RFK thing. It has to be a retractable roof because if you guys are talking Super Bowl, if you're talking Final Fours, if you're talking all that stuff, those things have to be in place for that to happen. You can't do it with an open air stadium. It's just not feasible and allowable. So that automatically puts the retractable roof in play. What we need to hope for is that Philadelphia kind of pushes back on this new stadium or this new building for the 76ers. And that will hopefully keep money in Josh Harris' pocket that he can use towards the stadium build as opposed to spending money up there in Philadelphia. So we get to a crux where because he owns 2 other sports teams, if finances go other places. So we got to make sure, this guy has enough backers to help get us the money for what they're building. And the other question I was going to ask, and this has kind of had me concerned, is where does the training facility go? Where does headquarters go? Like if you put the stadium in Maryland, do you stay in Ashburn and still have this crazy drive? Do you build it in Bowie? Do you build it somewhere else? Like I think that becomes the other question because you can have the team in DC, but then where does headquarters go? What are you doing in terms of the fields? Are the players going to feel comfortable having their families in the city? I mean, these are all things that we got to start taking into account and start thinking about. Go ahead, Fourth Place.
Let me say this. You don't move Redskin Park. You leave Redskin Park where it is because here's the thing. It's too hard to find housing in DC. No, none of these players want to live in an overpriced efficiency in DC. If we know this ain't 80s football, this ain't 90s football, that ain't 90s DC. Housing in DC is terrible. And those that live in DC know what I'm talking about. We old enough. Everybody that listens to the show, watches the show, joins the show, comments, you all remember you can go to DC and get an efficiency for $275, $350. And that was a deal. You get a 1-bedroom for $425. My godmother had a 2-bedroom that she was only paying $440 for. But she also moved in 68. So from 68 to 2003, she wasn't paying $500 for a 2-bedroom. There's no more affordable living, even for an athlete. You're talking maybe $10K in rent just for a high rise in DC. Nobody wants to pay that. When you go out to Virginia and buy you a house that's got more square footage and everything, keep everything outside of game day in VA. Only drawback of VA is the taxes. But when it comes to housing and commute, keep it in VA. Keep Redskin Park where it is. Do not move it. Because if you move it into, let's say, Bowie, you find some place in Bowie, Upper Marlboro, something like that, you kind of throwing everything off. Because it's not like with the Bullets/Wizards when they were, all the players lived in Mitchellville and Upper Marlboro and stuff like that. It's not like that. Keep it where it's at because it works out better for them because that commute, think about it. They don't commute by personal vehicle to the stadiums on game day. They do now, but they didn't used to when they were going to the RFK. They came in, they stayed at what was it, the Marriott at Dulles Airport, and they caught the bus in with police escort, so it wasn't no traffic for them. So keep everything. Do not move Redskin Park again. We've already moved it once. Don't move it again.
But you gotta also think about the commute home from the game. I mean, these players aren't getting a bus ride or a police escort out of the stadium. They're getting in cars with family members and sitting in traffic on 295 or 495. So this isn't the luxury. That's why we're talking about maybe being home a little bit closer. Because why play a Monday night game and not get home till 3:00 in the morning? You know, why play on a Sunday and not get home until 6:00 after a 1:00 game or 7:00 because you've been sitting in traffic?
Now, hold on. You got experience with RFK. How much car traffic did they used to have to deal with coming out of RFK? I've never heard anybody complain about it.
It's because they were winning. It's a simple thing. Like I remember we sat in RFK's parking lot for about an hour after a game, just to let traffic get out, just to let people go and do whatever, just to let people get out of the way. You would sit there for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Maybe it's because my parents and I were partying. I don't know, but we did a standard hour and a half after the game.
To what you were saying, right? To what you were saying, I think that, and this is what I was saying earlier about that RFK site. You don't have to put the stadium right exactly where it is. You have a ton of space. You can rebuild a stadium and have headquarters and training facility at this one central site. I don't care about where millionaires want to live. This is what good franchises do. They say this is what we are, this is what we do. You go choose where you want to live at, how far you want to come to the stadium, and all that good stuff. And if you make it like the Wizards training facilities up the street now from them, all right. Based on that, if you want to go live in Sterling, if you want to go live in Catonsville, have at it. We'll see you at 7:00 for practice. I don't care where you live at. But with all the space there, I don't understand why you wouldn't put Redskins Park there. Why you wouldn't put this is an opportunity for more money, it's more accessible. You can get right off the train, go to training camp. You get right off the train and take a tour of the stadium. Right off the train and do whatever else that you could suck the money dry if you make this accessible. You can make a first-class, state-of-the-art headquarters, training facility, the whole 9 yards. Right there, you have the room, because parking is a thing of the past. That's why I was saying that you'll never see this amount of parking again at a stadium. Parking is a thing of the past. So why not put? And I know what it was, what it used to be. Joe Gibbs holding up the trophy. It's over. You gotta consolidate and move into the future. And I think the future is convenient for the players, where you have everything at one central location. Then they can decide where they want to go. They're revamping certain parts of DC. They might want to live in DC. They might start going back to Upper Marlboro. They might go to Arlington. You got Arlington and Alexandria across the bridge. So it's just a thought. I know I'm in the minority on that, but Yankees trash truck.
Here we go. Well, speaking of, Edwin says, where the Nats? And I noticed everybody got quiet with that. He also said the Wimbledon men's single match is getting interesting. I think it's the championship.
It is. It's Djokovic and I think it's Alvarez or Alcatraz, something like that.
Alvarez or Alcatraz?
something like that.
Speaking of
No, but he's actually the kid is I think he's 20 years old, so they're billing him as like the person of the future, the next person to kind of take the helm at in men's tennis and kind of run with it. So this is actually maybe a passing of the torch. So we'll see.
well, Xavier says it is Alcatraz.
See?
Good job, Zay.
I'm looking at bless you. I'm looking at RFK Stadium overhead on Google Maps, and you're right. But here's the question: if you
Alcatraz.
could what would you do? Would you take and put? You could put it's a lot over in Anacostia Park Section F. You could probably put your training facility and everything.
I'm telling you.
But here's the thing: what do you do with DC Armory? Because DC Armory is a
Why are we tearing down DC Armory?
We're not. I'm talking about using
You
it.
have to. You have to. You're gonna have to tear that down. If you're creating what you guys are talking about, but the training facility and all that, you're gonna have to tear that down to get some of that extra space.
You think so?
Sir,
Yeah. Because you're trying to build. You're not building just a stadium. You're trying to
An
build stuff
experience.
around the stadium, an experience around it. So you got to think about all of that, and then you got to remember you can only go one direction because you got the river and the water on one side of you. So you can only expand so much.
And I get that, but I wasn't even thinking of. I mean, because DC Armory is historic. I wasn't even thinking about. I'm thinking about all of this and preserving DC Armory because it's a historic piece of. It's a landmark. I'm thinking they can do all of this and still have DC Armory sitting there as whatever they want it to be. Now, if they want to incorporate DC Armory and redo it and have that as the what's that thing the Nationals have, the pavilion thing,
The bullpen.
the bullpen. I mean, that would be cool too, but I don't even think they need that space. Like I said, does anybody know off the top of their head how many parking spaces RFK had total?
Hold on, I can get it.
I tried to look it up, but it's I want to say that has to be at least 10,000 spots at least.
Yeah, I think it's more than that.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, this is because this is going to turn into what A. Poland did with then at the time MCI Center, where we got parking for the elites. But the rest of you peons come in on the train and y'all walk here, how y'all get here. And I think that's what this is going to be. FedEx was built in 96. You got the parking around there.
That nobody uses.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been to FedEx before, you know that is a nightmare. If you go park in there and you want to get out, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an experience. And just like the Midnight Rider said with the RFK, you might as well sit there and have a beer and let that traffic man out because it's no way. It's no way. You're just going to be frustrated. You just put a cooler in the trunk with some cold ones, and if you come out of a 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, put the radio on, listen to some of the 4 o'clock game, and then leave out. But back to the point, I wasn't even thinking about touching DC Armory. I mean, that's a good point. What do you do with that? Because you want to incorporate, like KG said, you want to make it so that you want to try to make it so that this is a spot you can go, like the Nationals did for Southwest. Go down there for lunch, go walking. You do it rebuilt that M Street corridor. So can you make that where Stadium Armory is? Can you redo that site where people want to go there for lunch, where people are out, or they already bless you. Well, they're already out jogging and stuff, but you just make it more scenic.
Well, they're doing that now because they have the skate park and the playground and all of that around the stadium. They have all of that.
Y'all looking for the parking spaces too?
Yeah, I was. I can't find it.
I want to say, and if somebody's watching that knows. I want to say they had 20. I want to say they had 20K in spaces, in parking spaces. I'm not 100% sure. I wish I knew. I need. That's when we need somebody that. I thought that was KG. I thought we had somebody that spit out facts and historic fact. He should have known the number and by year what spaces were added, and he can tell you on Google Earth the longitude, latitude, everything.
It's I didn't even hear a word you said, but I think we're looking at 17,000.
17,000. That sounds about right. I mean, that's a lot of parking. I think that goes down to 10,000 spaces with a new stadium.
But here's the thing. Now, you know what they used to do in the RFK parking lot. And Edwin says Alcaraz, not Alcatraz, Alcaraz. Now, y'all know what we used to do in the RFK parking lot. Y'all remember the farmers market. They used to take up that whole parking lot on Saturdays. We still got to have enough room for that, because that's still going on. Still got to have enough room for that. So don't kill the parking too bad. But I think 10,000 parking spaces, I think that's entirely 10, 15,000. That's too much. Because especially when you got public transportation right there, you got buses, trains. Now you have Ubers. You know, when you think of parking, make a ride share lot where all the Ubers can come in, drop people off, and drive on out. You pick people up in that same lot after the game all day long. Cater for the times. That's all. All right, fellas. As much as I would love to talk architect talk with y'all, and I think we're gonna keep revisiting this for the next foreseeable future, because number one, it's a good topic to talk about, and when you're from the area, you want to see your area do well. So let's move on to the next topic. Kevin Durant versus Ryan Davis. Comedian Ryan Davis, funny guy. Stand-up show's amazing. The way he breaks stuff down. He broke KD down like a shotgun. He broke him down like an M16. Hell with that. Because KD made a comment about him not being funny. And he dug into KD shit so bad about his entire career. Start with the Midnight Rider. This may not be a big sports talk, but did he tell any lies?
He didn't. He didn't tell one lie at all. And the beauty of it was sometimes you don't go into the dog house to piss off the dog because you don't get bit. And I think that's what happened with KG. KG went into an arena trying to carry this dude, trying to talk down to this dude like he was going back down. And then he really just got this dude bringing out his whole arsenal, breaking out everything that's happened with KG, breaking down basketball, because he does they do like a court show where they talk about MJ versus LeBron. I think it's called Cancel Court or something like that. So he has a lot of this information at hand, and all he's doing is just repeating something he might have said before. So it's amazing, just the shellacking and the downright disrespect that he gave KD. And KD deserved every minute of it, because he shouldn't have been over there trying to call this kid out and talk down on the kid.
And it goes back. We've said that everything Ryan Davis said to Kevin Durant, we've said on this show. And whether you believe it or not, he's 100%, not 90%, he's 100% right about everything he said. And this maybe, and Kevin Durant does this a lot in people's comments. And this is something I don't like that players do, like Steven Jackson does a lot. Oh, you didn't play the game, so you didn't know. You don't know. You can't tell me this, that, and other. Yeah, we can, because we watch it. And we might not have played at your level, but know a thing or two. But that breakdown he did, man, I don't know if Kevin Durant will jump out there again because that right there is just a systematic breakdown. That's what that was. And I don't know if I watched the video before we came on the air and I'm just listening in awe. And it's like no lies told. And I told y'all, I don't know when we talked about it. I think it was in the WhatsApp chat. I said, this guy went from probably being a top 10 player all time to just being one of the guys now, with his last couple of years of his career. And then we talked about the whole Phoenix move and Ryan Davis made a good point about the defense. Like I told y'all, second round, they're gone. Like that team ain't, whatever. But that Ryan Davis thing was beautiful. I wish we could tag him. That was beautiful. That was a piece. That is what comedians, that's what actors, that's artwork. That needs to be framed and signed. YouTube should send him a plaque for that. That is absolutely beautiful. And it's the truth. And whatever you think about Kevin Durant, that's the truth. That's the truth. His career is what it is.
I'll say this. Overall, Kevin Durant will be a Hall of Famer, but he has so many since 2020. He has so many blemishes on his record. Well, no, let me take that back. Since 2019, because he missed a 19-20 season. But he has so many blemishes on his record since leaving Golden State. It's unfathomable. Like, you couldn't make it work in Brooklyn for 3 years. You go to Phoenix, and he only played 8 games in Phoenix. 8 games. And y'all, you got D-Book, and CP3, and y'all couldn't do nothing. I thought he was the one that would will teams to victory, but truth is truth. And they say the truth hurts. But I don't think Ryan Davis said anything wrong. And you brought up Steven Jackson. And I'll say this. I love Steven Jackson's activism and what he does. But I'm starting to see him with the makeup on. And I do mean the clown makeup, because he says some things and he does some things. And I'm just like, dog, why are you even doing that? Like, you a 40-year-old man. Like, you older. I think we all the same age. But, bro, why? Anyway, that's another show for another time, because I go in on that. And I'm it hurts. But anyway, I don't think Kevin Durant will jump out there with anybody else, because he has a habit of doing that on Twitter. Like, every time somebody says something about him, he always has to jump in the comments and say something. And I'm like, every action don't need a reaction. You don't need to say that. Hey, Ross is here. Hey, man, don't you worry about it. You say you had to go to the store. We picking up Sunday dinner. I mean, it's a little gloomy outside, but we put the tent up, We can throw some chicken and get a New York strip, and, we can just throw something on the grill, do a little something, Ain't got to have much. We ain't got to marinate it. Just let it cook a little bit. Just a thought. But I don't think Ryan Davis said anything wrong. And if KD tries to clap back again, because, most players, when you clap at them, they clap back with, oh, I got this many amount of rings. How many you got? Well, I got the same amount of rings you got, because I went and had mine made, Because I actually have my favorite NBA championship ring of all time is the 93 Bulls ring. Had it made. So I have 6 rings plus a Super Bowl ring and a couple World Series rings. So what you want to say? I got rings in every sport. I think I'm going to take a picture with all of them too. Let's take a picture just sitting there with all my rings on. I ain't got enough fingers.
I'm about to say you don't have enough fingers with the Yankees championships.
Man, I'm gonna have to be like
But
Jordan.
you could.
3 on the ring.
With that massive payroll, you could have a surgeon put another hand here and a hand here, and then you could just flex them all.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what money does. It buys things.
But it's well within the rules. Don't get mad because my team got money and yours don't.
Hey, I mean,
don't get mad because we free spending and y'all tightwads.
Still got championship though.
A championship. You got 26 to go.
Well, this set right here in this tennis match this point has been going on since you guys kind of started this argument. This is must see. This is definitely going to be a pass on the torch. This kid is going to be problems for time to come or years to come.
Where are they at in the match?
So they're in the third set. It's 3-1. It's 40-40 in the set, and they've been at this point probably the last 5 minutes. They just kept going back and forth.
Sounds like great tennis.
And Ross said he making chili today. This is a perfect day for chili.
See, this is all right. So chili, have a divert a little bit. I feel like chili is a cold weather thing. Maybe it's the way I make my chili, but I don't do chili in July.
But
not chili dogs? Anything?
Nah, not really, because I'm not a big hot dog guy. Like hot dogs, if they happen, they happen. I'm not burgers, man. We do our burgers. We do our burgers from ground beef. We don't buy the made frozen patty. We make our burgers by hand. We do the good old welfare burgers like Eddie's Murphy Mom with the peppers and everything. We do all that.
Oh man.
Chili is a cold weather food. Ross say it is. Edwin said chili is a cold weather food. Ross say it is. Chili dogs later in the week with leftovers. Yes, indeed. Now, since we on the top,
you can pretend. You can turn the heat up in the house to 80 and sit down. You know.
Now, on the topic of chili, here's the great debate for everybody: cornbread or rice?
Well, me, I use rice, and that's more so. I'm not a big baker or whatever, so it's just an easier thing for me.
I don't have a preference. Whatever the wife cooks, I don't have whatever's in there. It's just chili standalone. I don't need anything with it. If it's good, I can eat it by itself.
Now, see, I'm partial to cornbread, but I have to stay away from the breaded foods. So I'll get cornbread once, and every other time it's got to be like a little bit of rice, just a little bit of rice. Ross says cornbread most of the time. The thing is, there's no wrong answer. I just want to know what everybody does. And my wife, she'll cook chili, and she'll cook the meat and everything, and she'll put it in the crock pot and let it simmer and let it settle down. And we go do stuff, and all of a sudden the house is smelling all good. Don't get me started. Good cold weather food. But see, I'm a country boy, so when it come to cold weather, stewed tomatoes and hot biscuits, man, ain't nothing better when it's cold. You get your can of honey butter biscuits, and you put them in. You get them stewed tomatoes, season them up real good. Take that biscuit, put that hot butter in the middle of it, let it sit for a second. Then you open it up, take that stewed tomato, put it on top of it. I guarantee you in 20 minutes, you're going to be on the sofa asleep. Trust me on this. I've done the research. And last but not least, our final segment for the day. Midnight Riders problem with ... Cal Ripken. I had to go back through the Rolodex and find out. I was like, why does Midnight Rider have a problem with these people? We talked about Ed Jones. This is a summer topic. Why do you have a problem with Cal Ripken?
Oh boy. It's not everybody takes it as a problem with Cal. It's more so a problem with things that I've seen happen that involve Cal. So, and I also take it into a point where I incorporate Cal in the argument for Barry Bonds. People talk about steroids and all these things. And I'm just like, well, if you're not tested for, how does a guy, one person, play 2,100 consecutive games and nobody else is even close to that? So what was he using? Or was this all natural? So it's a question I ask just because I think I'm well within my reason to ask that question. I've also been to a couple games and like seen the ground ball to go past Kyle, and instead of it being the E, they made it a hit, and there's no way it should have been a hit. Like no score taker in America or keeper in America should have scored that a hit, but because it goes through Kyle's legs, it's a hit. And then Chan Ho Park, he grooved that fastball to him. I don't care what you say. For that All-Star game home run.
The Iron Man. What I used to call when I was younger, my pal Cal, one of my favorite players. You know, when he moved over to third base, that immediately took Derek Jeter to the greatest shortstop of all time. It did. Don't shake your head, please.
No, not even close.
It did.
And I'm probably not even by a long shot the third baseball guy on here. Not even close. not even close. Like you can't even see that in your rearview mirror. Not even close.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
But here's the thing. You put a little bit of money in my pocket, I might, look at this hand and it's something in this hand, and I might throw away what's in this hand. But it has to be something weighing this hand down. And that's Yankee talk. That's to me.
Let me rephrase that. Derek Jeter became the best shortstop in baseball when Cal moved to third base. I'll call it that. Who was the better shortstop? Who was the better shortstop at that time?
Wasn't A-Rod playing shortstop?
A-Rod wasn't shit at shortstop compared to Jeter. Let's go.
Who?
A-Rod. He was okay.
You're saying at the time in baseball when
Cal moved at that time.
Nah.
Derek Sanderson Jeter, the best shortstop in baseball at that time.
We losing you, Midnight Rider. There you go.
So there's how am I say this? There's two times that I think carry Derek Jeter into infamy. It's going face first into the stands, and the throw to get Giambi or whoever was at the plate. Those two plays in the playoffs, because of where they happen, puts Jeter in folklore history. That's it. So you overlook his regular season stats for those two moments.
It's more than two moments.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm the third baseball guy by like y'all are in DC. I'm in Alaska. Okay, but no, it's different when you get to see a team all the time in prime time, and you get to see a guy all the time. But that don't make him the best. He was good. He was a good guy. Good. He did good for the Yankees. He came in clutch for the Yankees. But the best, I don't know. It might be the Jay-Z debate where is there a time where he was number one throughout his career? I think that's what this is. Top 5? Yeah, top 3 maybe some years, but I don't know about number 1.
Ross says, so I'll ask this. Could Cal have used some enhancements to be able to play the whole streak? I'm not accusing him, but I think it's just natural. I always thought it was natural. But when you say enhancements, are we talking illegal enhancements? Or are we talking, what was that? Brady Anderson took creatine and he hit 50 home runs, and they was like, "Oh, well, we're banning creatine." And then he just never really equaled up to that again. Are we talking that tight? Or are we talking something a little stronger?
I think it'd be anything. I mean, the problem is there wasn't testing.
Okay, I never thought about it like that. I mean, that's fandom for you. And I agree with this, Ross. I don't care what anyone says. A-Rod is not a Yankee. He played for the Yankees, not a Yankee. I agree with that. It's like he didn't endear himself.
So then, what's I'm gonna say that because I have that same thought about LeBron. He's not a Laker.
I can agree with that, but he has endeared himself. But you think of LeBron more as he's a Cav, if anything.
Right.
He could be a Heatle, but he's a Cav.
He should never be on any all-time Laker. Like, oh, these are the 5 greatest Lakers. And he's in that conversation. No, he's not.
Because people calling him the greatest Laker small forward. I'm like, did you forget about James Worthy? Did you forget about Elgin Baylor? You know, come on. I don't. When you got players that move teams so much, that's like saying, I'm trying to think.
Tom Brady's the greatest Buccaneer quarterback ever.
I'll take that. There you go. You can't say that. They didn't. No, we're not doing that. No. But back to Cal. I don't understand. It's a lot of players you bring up. You just say no. You know, you have an issue with it. And I don't. Cal Ripken was one of the ones that blew my top off. I was like, I don't understand how anybody can not like Cal.
He plays for the Orioles, man. After 1986, when we were promised the Padres, or I think it was that year. It was like 86 or 88. It was. I was done with anything Baltimore.
And I tell you something crazy. I fell in love with black bats because of Cal Ripken. Like I always wanted a black bat because of Cal. Just saying. And Ross said agreed. I think that was about A-Rod and LeBron and them not being Yankees and Lakers respectively. They just played for them. So I just, man. It's just it boggles my mind that you got a problem with Cal.
It's all good, man. There's more. There's more.
It's way more. I mean, I can't for the life of me understand why the boss BJ has such hatred for the 27-time world champion Yankees. But I mean, it could be because of the heartbreak. And I get that. I tried to call and console him. He wouldn't talk to me for 3 days. Because I tried to call and console him after the Aaron Boone home run. I tried to call and console him. He wouldn't talk to me.
I'm waiting for a call from NYC Department of Transportation. I need to know how many of these trucks are roaming the streets. That's all I need. And I need to know if they make parking car. I need to know the extent. I need to know the web of this, where it goes, what other vehicles are tagged with this. I just need to know. That's all.
And Ross says, I respect Cal as a Yankees fan. Can't like him, but respect. I get that. See, I'm surrounded by like-minded people, and then see when I notice when Edwin here and Ross here, y'all don't really gang up on me like that because I got backup. But when I'm by myself, y'all always want to jump me. Y'all always want to jump me, man. Always.
Let me ask you this, and this is going to sound Dallas Cowboyish. How many times have you been? Were you born in New York?
No.
Oh, I hate this argument.
Okay. Family from New York?
No.
Been to New York? You been to Yankee Stadium?
Yes.
That-
Old
Been
and
to
new.
Yankee. Okay. Just trying to figure out where this love for the Yankees came from.
Love for baseball, 94. Bernie Wayne.
Why not love the Orioles? They up the street. You talk about Memorial Stadium and the Colts all the time.
Yes, I do.
You could tell me what color the seats were.
Yes, largest insane asylum in the country. Largest outdoor insane asylum.
Baltimore's always had a great culture for baseball, and why not jump on the Baltimore?
Because my rebellion as a child, my godmother was a huge Orioles fan. She taught me the game of baseball. I seen Bernie Williams swing a bat. And if I'm not mistaken, in the lineup, it was a outfielder named Danny Tartable. Used to wear 45 for the Yankees.
Oh, Kansas City Royals.
I got my cousins had this game, Major League Baseball Players Association, baseball. It just had the teams and the names, but it didn't have the team names. So it just had the city and everything. I used to play with the Yankees. And I would play with the Yankees and nobody could beat me. And the Yankees weren't good in 94. They weren't that good. And then I would play with them and the Mariners because I would play Jay Buhner, John Olerud. Who else is on that team? Tino Martinez. You know, I used to play with them. And of course,
wasn't both Martinez on there? Was both Martinez?
Yeah, Edgar Martinez too. And I played with them, but I played better with the Yankees, and I did better. And I was like, yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. And then my godmother used to always tell me, she said, I think you're a success and you're growing into your own. She said, my only problem is I think I fucked up by teaching you the game of baseball, and you're a Yankee fan. She said, that's the only problem that I think I've had raising you. And I used to always tell her, I said, well, my love for the Yankees grew even more when I seen Derek Sanderson Jeter. I was a big DJ fan. And I can't see myself liking anybody else. Everybody else either like the Orioles or the Mariners or the Braves, the Indians. And I was like, yeah, I can't run with those. I didn't run with a bandwagon team. They didn't win a championship until, 96? I had been a fan for 2 years already.
The Yankees are a bandwagon team no matter what year, just because of their history. The Lakers are a bandwagon team.
And I should have been a Lakers fan.
The Cowboys are. There's certain teams that are bandwagon teams because of their history. And don't get me wrong, that lore and that history pulls you to them. But yeah, I mean, the Yankees already had how many championships in '94? How many championships they have in '94? No. You took too long. I don't want to hear it now. I don't want to hear it now. I don't want to hear it, Mr. Historian. I needed that right away. I don't want to hear it now.
Ross says Edgar Martinez.
Yeah.
Edwin says Yankees are the greatest sports franchise in the universe.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Not for me. Born in Queens, New York. Nobody in my family is not a Yankees fan. Ross says first book I read was a story about Babe Ruth calling his shots against Charlie Root. Was a Yankee fan since. Thurman Munson was my favorite player. And see, I was a big Boy fan.
This is actually a show topic. Like, how did you pick your team to a certain extent?
It is absolutely. It absolutely is. So we're gonna put a pin in this right here.
Hey, I'm with that. And we can go through college football, college basketball, and the 4 major pro sports. And that's your show right there.
Yeah.
That is your show.
We gotta make that a highlight. Nothing can happen on Thursday. Next Thursday is all goodbye, Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
So
because Tuesday we got our hip hop segment. Thursday is It's a Party. Dan Snyder's up out of here. So I guess we can try to slate that for next Sunday if we still not talking about Dan Snyder.
Oh,
Sounds
should we
like
I forgot how we got to the hip hop topic.
I'll go back and listen. I know we got it.
So now can we really talk about what I have a problem with?
What do you have a problem with?
The NCAA. Tennessee has 200 infractions, violations, and they get an $8 million fine, and that's it. We know what this is. You're not putting that football team that has the possibility and the ability to make the college playoffs next season. You're not putting that on probation. That's really what it is. If this was some sorry fourth level college football team, they would have the book on them. They'd have probation for the next 3 or 4 years. But because Tennessee is in the big bag SEC, and they possibly could be a team that represents the conference in the college football playoff, we'll just charge you $8 million. That's it. Like this, I've never seen a case like this where it's this number of infractions and we're just getting them a fine. It doesn't make sense. It's about as dumb as when they take away victories from a team. Like, oh, we found out 10 years later that Les Miles had violations, so we're going to take away the trophy in 2015. How the hell are you going to do that? I saw him look at the trophy. Oh, we're going to take that off the record books? You can't. You can't. It's in the record books. It's some little kids in some country when the opposite, whoever Tennessee beat in that thing, he's wearing their championship squad, the T-shirts. It's ridiculous, man.
The punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Well, it's just like, and they have this history because they swept Duke and all those other teams in that LSU scandal. They swept all of them under the rug, and only people that got punished were the assistant coaches. The second you heard Duke's name come up, we knew there was going to be nothing done.
Of course. Of course.
Thank you.
I feel your outrage.
Oh, by the way, Alcaraz won the third set 6-1. So, and he's up 1-0 in the fourth.
Okay. Well, we've come to the end of our show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for getting up with us. Edwin Ross, appreciate the feedback, appreciate the love. Hope to see y'all on Tuesday. Because I'm sure with these two, between them, it's going to be some Yankee slander. So we got to stand up against them. But make sure you like, subscribe on all streaming platforms. YouTube. That way you don't miss nothing. So it's been a pleasure. Everybody enjoy their Sunday, this rainy Sunday. And Ross, don't eat too much of that chili, man. You're gonna be in a itis coma. You're gonna be sitting in a recliner out. But enjoy it though. So for the Midnight Rider, the boss BJ, I'm the big guy KG. Y'all know our motto. We don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here.